Acoustic neuroma can lead to facial nerve involvement as the first clinical presentation, early clinical presentation. In a child less than 12 years, it is a serous otitis media, which is the most common cause responsible for the development of the conductive deafness. A negative Rennes test means there is absolute conduction, there is a conduction deafness. How much airborne gap should be there for it to be generated? So basically the airborne gap is a minimum value is required before Rennes become negative. Where do you see cauliflower ear? When there is a hematoma in the case of a trauma is what need to be remembered, where there is a boxer's ear, which is also called cauliflower ear, is what need to be remembered. It is the pseudomonas which lead to malignant otitis externa, as all of you know very well. Now, what is your diagnosis? A man unexpectedly leaves the home across the country, takes a new name, and he has no memory of his prior life. So lucky guy. Is it possible for everybody? No. What is the diagnosis that you make, doctor? Fugue. That's good. I think you're all ready to answer those 4 or 5 questions in psychiatry in tomorrow's NEET PG very confidently. Dissociative fugue. That's right. Unilateral conductive deafness with a history of head injury, but the tympanic membrane is normal and mobile. What is the underlying cause? Incubostapedial joint dislocation is one of the important things to be considered, is what I want to underscore. What is a very common cause of a chronic ear infection, doctor? As the name itself says, chronic suppurative otitis media is very, very high. A new drug prevents the disease, but it does not, prevents mortality but doesn't cure. What happens? New cases become old cases because it is not creating cure, and that increases the prevalence. True negatives is specificity. True positives is sensitivity, as all of you know very well. Now, from outside you bring a disease into this country, you call it as exotic disease. Surveillance is the continuous monitoring of the work which is being done by the health workers. After the surgery, you make the person to walk, is an example of a rehabilitation to restore the functions of the person to the highest possible level of functional ability, is called as the rehabilitation. Tell me, doctor, what is the treatment of choice of SVC syndrome? Who will give me the correct answer? If there is SVC syndrome, jugular vein suffusion of the face, what is the treatment? You want to do surgery, you want to do radiotherapy, or you want to give chemotherapy? What is your answer? That's good. Dilip rightly says it is a radiation, radiotherapy. What is the very common cause of the SVC syndrome, doctor? 2 conditions come to your mind: bronchogenic carcinoma and lymphoma. They are the 2 things that need to be thought of. Cervical PAP can offer early diagnosis and treatment, hence it is an example of secondary prevention. Sensitivity is basically true positive, as all of you know. So doctor, you are giving tetanus toxoid. What is it an example of? Passive or active immunity? Toxoid, serum immunoglobulins, they are all fundamentally what? Passive, not active. So we need to change the answer into C, not into B. Yes, C should be the answer, not B, not B. Because there will be no immunological memory, right? What is given here? basically maternal antibodies and giving immunoglobulin or anti-sera. Any of them doesn't create any immunological memory, and but what is given here is okay. Toxoid, toxoid is okay. Toxoid, giving toxoid is as good as giving killed vaccine or giving an active, I mean to say live vaccine. They all come under an immunological memory creating active immunity. Okay, agreed. No correction. Now coming to the incubation period, if you know, what are the important toxoid is active, alright. I thought it as a serum, I mean the anti-tetanus serum. No, it is not serum. Now coming to incubation period, if you know, you can decide quarantine, source of infection, vaccination, anything can very much be decided based upon the knowledge of the incubation period. Now coming to the surveillance, in surveillance we do sentinel search of the missing cases. You can know the trends of the health status. You can provide timely warnings by repeated monitoring. Randomization is not the part of it. What is prevalence? Prevalence is an example of ratio, not a rate, because the numerator is the part of the denominator makes it a ratio. Now coming to the cohort study, where do you calculate the odds ratio, doctor? It is in the case of the case control trial where the odds is calculated, exposure rate, retrospective or prospective, and if you want to know the association between a suspected risk factor and subsequent disease, they all can be proven with the help of the cohort study. Now prevention of the development and emergence of the risk factors, what do you like to call it as? We call it as primordial prevention, as all of you know very well. Where can you calculate the risk ratio? If you conduct a cohort study, you can calculate relative risk. You can calculate odds ratio in the case of the case control trial. Now first noticed case is always called the indexed case basically. Herd immunity is an important feature of diphtheria, polio, measles, etc., etc. Now how can you calculate the relative risk? It is risk ratio, incidence among the exposed to that of the incidence among the non-exposed will give you the risk ratio, which is basically called the relative risk. What is the purpose of sentinel surveillance? Basically to pick up all those missing cases. Now comes a sleep waking up question, doctor. Give me an answer. In which renal tubular acidosis is associated with nephrolithiasis as a complication? Predominantly, nephrolithiasis is a complication in type 1, type 2 or type 4. In which kind of acidosis? That's right, everyone is right. I think I would have removed this abnormal H plus secretion, that makes it type 1 distal anyway, but in tomorrow's exam you are going to remember nephrolithiasis, alkaline tubular fluid which predisposes to the stone formation, and distal renal tubular acidosis with an inability to secrete the H plus ions. All these buzzwords need to be remembered. Specificity, what does it detect? It detects the true negatives is what I want to underscore to all of you. Cohort study, relative risk is the one which is basically calculated. Now in hemolytic anemia there is hemolysis. If it is intravascular, it will consume haptoglobin and it will decrease the haptoglobin levels. Out of all, it is the hypovolemic shock, having had undergone bleeding, is the most common form of the shock. For the digoxin, is the dialysis effective? Generally salicylates, barbiturates, methanol. they are all highly dialysable substances is what need to be remembered. Where do you see microangiopathic hemolytic anemia and the presence of cystocytes in the periphery? And what is the difference between microangiopathic hemolytic anemia versus DIC? Yesterday we discussed in the medicine hematology class. In DIC, PT-APTT prolongs because there the clots consume clotting factors. Microangiopathic hemolytic anemias, platelets form the clot, not clotting factors. Hence PT-APTT will be normal, it won't be prolonged. That is the differentiating point between microangio TTP, HUS versus DIC. DIC में PT-APTT prolong होगा, मगर TTP HUS में PT-APTT will be normal. This is what the question which is going to come in the tomorrow's exam. Alpha thalassemia beta, what is the difference? Beta में beta नहीं है, alpha है. HbF, HbA2 have also alpha. So any other alpha containing hemoglobin like HbF, HbA2 will increase if the beta chain is not produced, and what will decrease? HbA, because it contains alpha 2 beta 2. मगर alpha thalassemia में anything which has an alpha chain, it will decrease. HbA, HbF, HbA2, everything has an alpha in common, hence all of them will equally fall down if you do the electrophoresis is what need to be remembered. Coming to hereditary spherocytosis, typically it will decrease the RBC surface volume, hence the osmotic fragility will increase. Coming to megaloblastic anemia, pure vagons, blind loop syndrome, diphyllobothrum ladum infection, they are all the ones which are typically associated with megaloblastic anemia. If there is a thrombocytopenia, first thing you will check the platelet count, undoubtedly. Then tell me doctor, which renal tubular acidosis between type 1, 2 and 4? Aldosterone defect is there. It is also called hyporeninemic hypoaldosteronism. Is typically a feature of which type? Excellent. Everybody is now sure about the topic of renal tubular acidosis, I think. Type 4? Okay, my second question. Which condition, common condition where type 4 RTA is seen? One of the common causes of type 4 RTA. Just like Fanconi's lead to proximal RTA, which is the underlying cause for failure of the renin formation and aldosterone formation? Excellent. Dilip gets a very big clap. Diabetic nephropathy में hyporeninemic hypoaldosteronism leading to type 4 RTA. What is one more speciality? Type 1 type 2 RTA में hypokalemia होगा, hypo. मगर type 4 is the only RTA where you find hyperkalemia is what you have to basically remember.